see James Creedon on the other side of our studio. How are you, sir?
Very well, thanks, Mark.
James, of course, here with Media Watch. And more reaction to that strange little tune that David Cameron kind of hummed or ahed.
That's right.
As he announced that he'd be stepping down and he went back into number 10.
Yeah, it was one of those open mic moments that we tend to like.
It happens to many broadcasters.
That's right. And he could have said something a lot worse than humming something. So anyway.
As many broadcasters have.
Right. Shall we have a listen to it? I'm not sure if we have the sound of this. Right. That's a little vine.
And as you just said it, he gets to the door, he goes, right!
Anyway.
With a purpose.
I'll close that down because we're going to have sound issues if I don't. For The Independent, it's a sorrowful little tune. For Classic FM, they've been doing music analysis of it, Mark, and they've been Cameron's Lament. It's been dubbed. So you see, websites, whether they be musical news websites or others, have been getting very busy. I quite like this the conclusion. Can we zoom in on the conclusion? Wagnerian fanfare, Beethoven-esque harmonic doubt, and then a strange contemporary flourish at the end. Does this composition demonstrate the unresolved nature of Cameron's swift departure from office? So you can see that I think people were getting a little bit carried away with the analysis. Then this was posted this morning, because of course this happened yesterday, but these things don't go cold for a while. Let's have a listen to this. It's a remix. Hold on. Do we have sound on that?
Thank you very much. Right.
And so it went. You get the picture, right? And there's also been people riffing off it with improvisations. This is this lady here who is a Venezuelan pianist. Also had her take on it.
Is this, but then he raises it to an E flat.
And then it just goes completely ballistic. So people are, we're being very inventive. Others saying it just sounded like the Muppet Show. And then in France, a lot of the reaction today was saying, in terms of good, it wasn't his departure speech, of course, but he was in that little spiel yesterday talking about the fact that Theresa May would take over. So some have been looking at other sort of departure speeches, including this epic moment by Valéry Giscard d'Estaing, who, after his first term in office, was defeated in the 1981 election by François Mitterrand. And he gave this little speech to the public that has become quite epic, especially because the kind of presidential music comes in as he is departing. Let's take a look.
Au revoir.
He walks away to the French national anthem. Wouldn't it be better to just stood up and waited?
Maybe.
That was more respectful,
There was
wouldn't
also
it?
that 5-second pause before he said au revoir.
But hey, I mean, that looked very dated and of its era, didn't it?
Yes.
But, there you go. But
So
I think Cameron there almost, reinventing the idea of the...
And he was doing the musical accompaniment himself.
It's interesting how many people have caught on to it, and obviously the Venezuelan pianist, that's fantastic.
It is indeed.
Great
It is
stuff.
indeed.
Problem with Mike. Remember when he was talking to the Queen a couple of months ago and he said fantastically corrupt leaders were coming to town for that
That's right.
conference he had? So it follows him, it seems.
Open mics are a dangerous business. Now, just very quickly before moving on from David Cameron, the buzz today was Larry the Cat has voted to remain.
Hang on, who's Larry the Cat? Tell
Well, I
us.
didn't know much about Larry the Cat, but Larry the Cat is the resident cat at number 10 Downing Street.
Of course he is, and he's remaining.
He's remaining. He's going to squat. Some would say. Some have been imagining that he might have got on to Theresa May before the potential eviction in order to ask to stay on. Others online as well are criticising David Cameron. He's facing a backlash over leaving the cat behind, although potentially that was also because maybe the cat would prefer to stay behind. You can see the way it goes, Mark. Anyway,
Cats are like. I mean, cats regard places as their homes, and they rent them to the humans who move in with them, don't they? That's the way cats think.
This is it. So I think the cat is quite happy to stay on and doesn't really care. Now, we'll move on to a story a little bit closer to home. Parisian newspaper kiosks. For anyone familiar with the French capital, these are dotted around the city. They're a sort of Belle Epoque, quite beautifully designed newspaper kiosks that were installed around the same time as the Eiffel Tower.
That one is, isn't it? It's
Yes.
really lovely, that one.
Well, Anne Hidalgo, the mayor of Paris, is planning basically on updating them. I don't think we're going to have much time to kind of go into all the details, Mark, but there is this futuristic kiosk.
Kind of modern square things.
Well, that's it. And
That's
the
grim,
idea is
isn't
you
it?
can charge your telephone, you can do all sorts of...
Oh, that's good.
They're more eco-friendly, but a lot of people are saying they also look like wheelie bins compared to the quite beautiful current ones. So a petition with over 40,000 signatures has been launched in order to save the sort of
That'd be a
iconic-
shame, because having generic cities
Yeah.
it defeats the whole point of having a city, doesn't it? You've got to have a city with its own taste, its own flavour, its own look.
And I'm sure they could update it while still maintaining some of the architectural integrity of the structure. And I think that's what's probably going to...
James,
the debate is going to be about
may
that.
they never update you, sir. Stay as you are. James
I'll try.
Crean with Media Watch there. Great to see
Thanks,
you.
Mark.
Delana with the business. Great to see you too, sir.
Likewise.
And obviously, great to see you. Stay with us. More news to come.